Okay, it's a process that goes with getting an internship. You apply, you ask, there's a list, a booklet. How does that go about?
If you go to NYU, the NYU journalism program, you can search this on Google. They have a list of every paid internship that they have compiled. But every newspaper pretty much has an internship program. They might not all be paid. So make sure you pay attention, look at them, see which one you can do because going to a strange city with no money income coming in is like really hard for especially for everyone, especially if you're not rich. But this internship in particular, I want to talk about it. It's called the Sports Journalism Institute. Um, a former UH student, Ronnie Turner, actually got this internship, but it's funded by ESPN and the Associated Press sports editors, and it's to get black people and minorities and women into newsrooms. So it's an internship. They bring a bunch of talented uh, people of color and women into a boot camp for 9 days. They pay for everything, including your hotel, your food, everything. You just learn about journalism, and then they ship you off to different places all across the country. So, um, two people went to MLB.com. One guy went to ESPN. He actually did a game story about the Yankees. Um, Two people went to the Sun Sentinel, which included me and another intern. Someone went to the Salt Lake Tribune in Utah. Someone went to the Knoxville Sentinel, I believe. Um, and it's just a lot of good opportunities where they send you all across the country. Even someone came to Houston to the Houston Chronicle. So it's an important internship that if you are a person of color or a woman trying to get into the newsroom, um, it is an important internship. And even when you go to your internship, you'll realize that a lot of newsrooms aren't filled with people who look like you. So this type of internship is important for the industry.
How much is there a living culture shock and a work industry culture shock? Is it a balance between the two, or is it just out of balance, or just
Uh,
and how quickly is the adjustment?
well, see, the adjustment to the work environment, I've done a couple internships before, so that wasn't hard. But I have never, it's a shame to say this, but before this internship, I've never been grocery shopping by myself.
No, man.
So
I can imagine that was a culture shock.
it was.
Most of you college students, y'all come in, none of y'all are prepared for. You call it back home. Where do I go and buy? And where do I go and buy it?
I've been living with my mama my whole life, and like I've never been grocery shopping by myself. So that was completely different. Um, Finding a place to stay, I had never done that before because I didn't live on campus. Um, it was just difficult because the first place, it wasn't what we expected, and we were in a different city. So you're kind of in a difficult position if you're in a different city and you already paid some money, but the place is not what you expect. So that's difficult, like finding a place to stay that's within your budget. But adjusting to the work environment is difficult for some people because they expect you to really produce. Like it's not like you don't just go there and they baby you. If you go there and you're not great, they're gonna give you baby assignments your entire internship until you show that you can do it. So you really want to go there and you want to be ready. And you want to show them that if you give me any assignment, I'll be able to do it.
How much was it your working with the Daily Cougar and classwork? How much that was a helpmate to you adjusting quickly in a different environment that you basically was dropped in and says, okay, go to work next day?
Man, the Daily Cougar, like when I tell you, it really prepared me because a lot of people, if they aren't an editor at their school paper, they don't have the same type of deadlines. Like, so I've been in a situation where there's nothing on the page. I have to fill it, and it's just me, so I have to write something. So I've been in a position where I have to go and find a story, where I have to go and go to practice, write a story in an hour, and put it on my page, and then it's on me if something's wrong. So being in that position just just having that experience of working for my student newspaper as an editor really helped me, like when it comes to deadlines, because when you're just a writer for your school paper, the deadlines matter, but if you don't turn your story in on time, it's on somebody else ultimately. As opposed to if you're an editor and the story doesn't come in on time, it's on you. So when you're a reporter in the real world, you don't turn in that story, expect to get cursed out by your editor. You know, it's not happy-go-lucky fun time anymore. So
That's why I picked you, because now you've had a chance to find a brutally honest situation that folks think, oh, okay, I know somebody. Yeah, you got the job, but at the end of the day, the only way you're gonna get respected in this business, you got to be able to do the work.
Yep. You got to be able to produce, and you have to be able to produce within the time limit that they give you. So if they give you 3 hours to do the story, you got to get it done in 3 hours. Like, they understand if something like out of your control happens, but normally you need to produce, because if you don't produce, they're gonna find another intern that they get paid for cheap.
Dealing with the Daily Cougar and sometimes with the Chronicle and all, being in a city of this size, where exactly was your cover area? I mean, your home base cover area, and then venture out.
You mean when I started at the Cougar and moved to? Well, at the Chronicle, they had me going everywhere, all across the city for high school football. Last year, I went to Katy for the first time. I had never been to Katy before. It's just bad. It's bad. I've driven past Katy, but I've never actually been in Katy. They sent me to Stratford. They sent me way up in Humble. Like, it wasn't Humble, but it was one of those little small towns right by Humble.
Tascasita?
It was near Tascasita, but it wasn't.
Kingwood, Porter.
It was
New Caney?
No, it wasn't New Caney, but it was. It was because it was orange against. It was like clear something.
Summer Creek.
No, it wasn't Summer Creek, because it was like in the boonies. Like, it was one of those where the high school is at this yellow flashing light, and you got to turn left at that yellow flashing light. I was looking around like, man, this place don't look too friendly to people like me. Because you go to Tascasita and you turn right, and then you go across this long bridge.
Oh, okay.
And then, you know.
I'm trying to remember all the high schools and all that on that end.
I'll find it for you. But it wasn't. I've been to remote places. I've been like in the center of the city. I'm actually from C.E. King, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I stay in C.E. King, so I know the North Shore area. I've done a couple things at North Shore. Here, I just cover it specifically in university at the Cougar.
Now, your summer intern, you mentioned about the different places, different sporting ventures that you covered. Was it strictly sports, or did you just do the city page? Because folks do, they hear it on TV, but they see everybody working, but they don't know that in a paper. Yeah, everybody's got their section. They got the city, then they got the, and then it's sports, and then there's entertainment and advertising, and basically it just broke down that way. But the city is everything.
Yes.
I mean that's what drives. The advertiser may pay for it, but what drives the paper is the city. Part of the paper.
Yep.
But sports is just what folks turn to when they don't want to, that's the only thing that they're interested in.
I got a theory. I think that more people every day pick up the city paper, but I think the sports page is the same people every single day pick it up. And you know for sure the same people are going to pick it up. So, if you put an ad in the sports department, that person is going to see it because they looking every single day. But I didn't get to do any. I really wanted to do some business stuff. I love covering business. I think it's really cool. But I didn't get to do any stuff.
What drives you with the business part of it?
And
when did it happen? I mean, when it kind of like, I'm doing okay in sports, but I like what's going on the other side, over there.
I was looking for an internship, actually, and the Houston Business Journal. I just called them out of the blue, and they needed an intern. So I went and interned at the Houston Business Journal. They have the people of business are so interesting. Like the stories of people in business, it's just like the stories of sports people. It's a lot of people who work their ways up. And then the numbers in business is kind of similar to the numbers in sports. And then what I realized about business reporting is that a little bit less competition, a little bit higher pay, then you off on weekends and you off on nights, so you can go to all the sport events. So it's tough. It's tough.
And the deadlines are still the same.
Deadlines are still the same. Less than 95.
Down in Florida, you getting back to that to that coverage. What was interesting? What was the difference in the coverage compared to what you deal with here on a daily basis?
They are huge into video. They're huge into video down there. Like every sports story they do, pretty much they put a video up with it. Even one time I went and covered this female jockey. It wasn't a major story. It was just like this female jockey. She was kind of short. She was good. And they did a video about that. The video didn't turn out great. It was just the dude literally read my article and he just put the video up there. But they really have a huge focus on video, and it's because the editor-in-chief, he actually talked to all of us, and he said that they get a little bit more money on advertising per video than they do per article.
Wow.
So that's why they're heavy into. They're actually building a studio in the newsroom.
So they figured out the digital part of it to make it work. How much is it changing to just that? I mean, that is because I know since I've been doing it, where I tape record and transcribe, and I'm gonna tell you, trying to make a deadline and use transcribing and using a word processor it's a nightmare. Truly, it's a nightmare. And you youngsters, trust me. On some of these stories that I see on TV every day, I can tell most of those people have never been on real print paper. It's been all digital, just because of the way it's covered and the way they push it. Because if they did, some of the things that end up on TV wouldn't end up there. Because one person would say in the room would question, says, was it all verified? Now we got to be first. No. I don't want to be, because nobody's going to make any apologies about the mistakes unless you're getting sued. So at the end of the day, do you and I'm talking about more about myself than it should, and this is about you. And let me get back to that. How much is it, is a difference? It's going back to that question. Do you think the big city papers, and that's just the way it's referred to, like Houston, Dallas, Kansas City, New York, LA, will they figure it out to find a way to make the digital work, seeing as most of the people that are still in charge are from the print side, and it's always a push between digital and print, because they still looking at advertising as something you print out every day.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. The advertising money on digital is just not the same. But I know most papers have a number. They have a number where if I make this amount from my website, I don't have to print. Because what people don't realize is that most papers, even the daily major metros, lose money Tuesday through Friday. They usually only make money on the Saturday paper and the Sunday paper. So they only print Tuesday through Friday in order to keep up appearances, because it would look like you're really struggling if you cut those papers. So I know the Washington Post, they did a study. I don't know the exact number, but they did a study and they found out that if we can make this money from our website, then we can cut printing, or we can stop printing these papers that don't make any money. So I don't think that print is gonna die. I think that daily print is gonna die. Most papers are gonna go to more of a magazine style, more of a Sunday style, where it comes out once a week, once every other week, or something like that. It's just, and then here's the thing, the best way to get news to people is not through a print paper. The best way to get news to people, it's a lot easier to get it to them through the internet. So that was never the best way to get news to everybody. That was just the only way. And if you look at newspapers today, they have more readers than ever. They just don't know how to make money off of it.
And I go back to what you mentioned about Florida, and it pretty much looked like it was statewide the way they figured out the advertising part of it with the digital on the digital side.
Yeah, the Miami Herald was huge in the video. The Palm Beach Post. I didn't really check out their website, so I don't know how big they're into video. But the Miami Herald for sure.
Do you think how much do you think teaching journalism how much will it change just over the next 2 to 3 years? Because digital changes on a regular basis, and it's a movement toward, especially on TV, to go with a different style.
Yeah.
But now everything is like open up, YouTube, Hulu is talking about they're starting to get their own original shows and all, and put those out. And Netflix, and the reason I mention that is because that's what this is. It's all about media, whether it's online or in print. Even the monthly magazines have changed their style and all how it's either an extension or a short version, and then you go to the other place and go to the other outlet to get the full extension. How much will it change within the next 3 years?
Man, I've been asking people that, and the thing
I
is,
can imagine you did after you realized that that in Florida the statewide the approach is different than it is here, where it's still a push toward print.
I noticed it before. Like at the SGI training, literally everybody there at their schools got trained how to write, how to do radio, and how to do video. Everybody except me. Like I was like the only one that was only still getting print. So
wow.
Yeah, but
how many were there?
About 9 or 10.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Because in a newspaper, 10 people. That's a big working. That's a big work group.
Yes.
That's a large work group.
That's a large group. And one of them, she went to Maryland. Her name was Rhiannon Walker. She came here and she interned at the Chronicle. She had done video and radio. She could video edit, all of that type of stuff. The guys from Ohio University, they had done everything. They were mainly video guys, but they both worked for the newspaper. They had done everything. At Missouri, where we were, they literally force you to do at least 2. You can do magazine, and then you can do radio, or you can do video and you can do print, or you can do all these different combinations. But you have to do at least 2, and they're gonna make you take classes in some of the other ones so you can diversify. So really, our university is behind in terms of journalism, teaching it. I think everybody else is trying to move it forward, but there are very few programs across the country that still have a print journalism degree.
Wow.
In the same way that we do it, where it's just print.
Okay, let me ask this, an extension part of that. Is it because in the big city news outlets, the fact that the main outlet is still pushed toward print rather than video, unless you're getting into TV, is the reason that they hadn't changed the curriculum or the teaching curriculum to where it would fit universal? Because pretty much that's what's going to have to happen.
Yeah.
And even though we're here on the campus of U of H, University of Houston,
most of the teachers are a lot of the teachers are from the Chronicle.
At Missouri, the 3 people that I know, that I grew up with, that's why they went to Mizzou through journalism and stuff. They've got a totally different outlet.
Yes.
Outlook. Even the 2 people I know from Syracuse, they got a totally different outlook. Michigan has a different outlook, and it's not an adaptation yet. It's almost we're gonna run with what's going on at the big paper, and that's how it's just how it's being done right now. But that's the reason I put that short one on there, because that's what's going to happen in the next 2 graduation classes. Journalism is going to be totally out of the, away from where folks want it to be, but they'll never have any, they won't have any control over it. Because I watched the way the national media handles big events like Final Four, boxing, all sporting events on all venues. Because you mentioned like horse racing, high line, that's a big deal down in there, a big regional sport down in Florida. I mean, and it's been that way for years.
Yeah.
You got football, college, professional and college. It's just going to change.
Yeah.
And the way credentials will be issued out,
It's going to have to change too.
It's going to have a change too. How much do you think that'll have an effect on down the road?
That's an interesting question too. I think, it's already changing. Like, I feel like it should have changed already here, because if you look at it, like ESPN is not a print paper. They've never produced a print paper, but they're like one of the foremost.
They totally changed the way folks
changed it. Completely changed it. And look at USA Today. USA Today is the biggest paper that still prints like
daily, and got a weekend edition that they print now. They used to didn't have that when it first started. It was just 5 days a week. It was like a business business paper with everything in it.
They're one of the few that's still making money though.
And that is because they figured out how to get that done on a regional instead of saying, okay, we need some regional outlets. Because when they first started, ventured in the city here, they were printing out of the Pasadena Citizen. And that's where because I was one of the first people to start delivering them along with the Wall Street Journal. And we would go out to that's where you go and pick your papers up and then deliver them out. And it was on a daily basis. You just put them in the machines and all and going on about your business. But like I said, they figured it out that you need some regional stringers.
Yeah.
But you need a national name. And you put those folks on a daily basis, but you add in, especially where it concerns high school sports, college sports, because on a professional level you just get the beat right and just run with that. But on a college and high school, in order to make those departments, and that's what they are now because everybody's got their own, just deal and all with the USA Today, and they just totally changed it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It has totally changed.
It's interesting, like where do papers go, but even like buying up a lot of those regional, one of the things that the people at the Sun Sentinel, they're owned by Tribune Company,
right? And
one thing that really screwed over the Tribune Company is buying the Los Angeles Times.
Wow.
Because they bought it, and then Los Angeles Times was in a lawsuit. And it was like $1 billion lawsuit, but everyone thought that the lawsuit would get dismissed. But then the Times, they lost, and then the Tribune Company had to assume all of that debt. So that put the Tribune Company into bankruptcy. So and they just came out like this year. They just came out. As soon as they came out of bankruptcy, they're doing what a lot of companies are doing. They split off their publishing from like the newsrooms. So like the newsrooms, like the papers and the stuff, like the papers and like the local news channels are separate, and they have a separate company for like the publish papers and the printing companies and stuff like that. That's all separate now, which is I don't know the reason for that. I don't know if like one side is making a lot more money and they just want to separate it. I don't know. But if you listen to people, they'll tell you that they profit, but what people will tell you is that the profits are just going down and down and down every year.
So when you finally walk across the stage, paper in hand, parchment in hand, will you be considered a print or a digital?
It has to be digital because, and another lady, like she came and spoke to us, like our internship class, and she said that newspapers have to show to their investors that they are not investing in print. So if they hire you, even if someone leaves, if they hire you, they have to hire you as a digital journalist for providing content to the website, so they can say, hey, we're investing all of this in the website, even if some of their stories go in print. So like, you just have a better chance of getting a job, especially if you're gonna leave the city, like, and if you want to move up in this industry now, because a lot of places they aren't giving raises. So if you want to get a raise, you want to get a better job, you're probably gonna have to move. So if I'm moving to a different city, I'm gonna have to have those skills. I would love to accomplish all of my goals in Houston. I love Houston, but it might not happen. It might not happen. So.
And the fact that you on this internship this summer, kind of like you figured a lot of things out of what's out there after the fact. I mean, after class is done, now you know what's out in the real world, and where you go to get that. So this summer was just listening to you talk, I had to say it was a good experience or a great experience. I decided it was two, because it definitely wasn't a bad experience. You learned something, and definitely when you learn something, it's definitely not a bad experience. Definitely. So was it a good experience or a great experience?
I think it was a great experience. It was a great experience. One thing my editor always told me is there's a world bigger than Houston. And
there you go. I hope people learned and understood that. Because some people can get it done here, but if you can get it, if you really want to make a move, and you still want to stay here, it would behoove you to, as an individual, to figure that part of it out. Since you want to just be based here, figure that out, how you gonna make that move up and still get things done, even though you're gonna have to do a lot of travel. Yeah. You gotta adjust to it. Yeah. Well, Chris, it's been good talking to you. I see things went well for you, and look like you got a handle on it, and you learned a lot. We talked a lot today, but I'm gonna send this to you. I'm gonna get it all fixed up and all. Then I'm gonna send it to your instructor, and this will be a good teaching tool in the classroom, because some of them need that. And I guarantee you, nobody in the classroom has thought about that. This part of it, because you didn't know what was going to happen when I approached you about that the other night. You was like, oh, okay.
I didn't know where it was going.
And the Daily Cougar has produced some good ones. It's produced some good ones. The last good one that's out there on a daily basis doing it is Samuel Kahn.
Samuel Kahn. Everybody loves Sam Kahn.
And Sam works.
He works.
And with that, reintroduce yourself, Chris, as a student, your major, and where you are, and then we'll finish this out.
I am Christopher Shelton. I am a journalism major at the University of Houston, and I am the creative director at the Cougar. We are officially the Cougar now. We drop daily. We're still daily though, online.
Daily online, print on Mondays.
Wednesdays.
Okay. Unless it's a special event, and then it'll be called a special edition, which is good. And with that, this is the Jerry Lee Woodley Jr. with the College Sports Report, adding a new segment to this season with college students in journalism. And this is my first one today, and I'll figure this out how to cut back on it. But Chris was somebody that I've been knowing a while, and he learned a lot, I learned a lot. But thanks, and good luck through the season.